This may be the spot in the world where more people have been exposed to Northwest Coast art and totem poles than any place else. Stanley Park. Of course, the irony is thick in that this park was taken from First Nations people more than a century ago. And totem poles are not indigenous to this part of British Columbia, instead originating from the Haida, Nootka, Tlingit, and other indigenous groups further north along the BC and Alaskan coast. And yet, here they are in the quarterfinal of the search for BC's best symbol. Only one moving on. We asked people what they thought it should be, and here's what they said.
I think in my case it's the coastal art. You see it a lot now, which is great. The Haida culture in particular is quite memorable and distinct, I think, and so it just speaks West Coast to me, that's all.
Because to me it's more evocative of BC and its Indigenous culture, and it's colorful, and it's what people think of when they think of British Columbia. Very often people are asking directions as to the totem poles when we meet them down here. They're not totally unique British Columbia, but they are symbolic of BC, and they're tying with our Indigenous culture and background, our history.
I've seen so many totem poles throughout the city, and even up in like Whistler and Squamish. I think they're beautiful. I think they are a great representation of like Canada's past history.
I would go these because I've heard of them more, and I know that there's a few around here. I'm sure there's obviously the coastal art too, but these are just more prominent.
Totem pole because I'm Indigenous, and there's a lot of Indigenous reservations around here, and I see a lot of totem poles in Stanley Park.
Totem pole. My mom is from Alert Bay, in which they have the tallest totem pole in the world. That's my family, are carvers. It reminds me of family.
I would say this one. You see it more. It's on prints, like clothing prints. It's everywhere.
Which one do you choose?
Totem pole, actually. Even in where we are right now, Stanley Park, there's totem poles here. So I would say I see totem poles more locally.
I would say totem poles, kind of like a spider sense telling me there's some over there, possibly.
All votes on the internet are superfluous, but is this one more than others? Both are beloved, both are revered. In fact, totem poles are simply a subset in some ways of Northwest Coast art, and yet one of these will go on to the semi-final in the search for BC's best symbol, and all that represents. Justin McElroy, CBC News, Vancouver.